Hi guys, welcome back to Saving Salvage, welcome back to the channel. Right, it's pretty much the video I think a lot of people have been waiting for, but in today's video we are going to be doing a turbo core replacement on my 2 litre A3 TDI 170 PS. Now, as always guys, if you do enjoy these videos or enjoy any other videos I do, please do like and subscribe, and also if you don't already, please head over to my Instagram page, which is saving_salvage. I'll stick it up there now for you, just to follow me, just for some pictures and etc. during the week. Right guys, we're starting completely from the beginning on this one. Not touched anything. I have the turbo core here. I'll just show you that in a second. I bought that 6 months ago, maybe even more than that. So that's sat on my bench in the corner. So I really do hope it is the right one for this. You can't tell just by looking at it because it's just a turbine. I'll show you in a moment. But if it is the wrong one, I won't be able to send it back. So I really do hope it is. So let's just show you here. Look. So this is the core. So 9 times out of 10, this is the part that fails on a turbo. So you've got the input and output shafts here, just in that bag, and they are what usually goes, whether it's the oil seal or it's the turbine itself has gone completely and rattles around and doesn't work properly. So in our case, it's the propeller shaft is just all loose, wobbly in its housing and not doing its job. So that's why we're replacing it today. So, without further ado, let's crack on with the turbo replacement. The turbo is always at the back. So the turbo is down here, that's the actuator for it. So what we're going to do first is remove all the airbox pipes, possibly might remove, well, I'm definitely going to remove the battery because it's knackered. Possibly might remove the battery tray just for some added access. And obviously, as you can see, it's a very tight gap here, so the turbo will be coming out from the bottom. So let's start removing some parts. I just thought I'd pause for 2 seconds before I get too deep into the underneath, because there's actually quite a lot going on under here. So I thought I'd just quickly pause just to tell you what I'm doing, so you can follow a bit better on the time lapse. So the first thing, obviously the turbo and manifold are there. If the camera zooms. The manifold is attached to the turbo, so we have to take the manifold off as well. So to get to all that, the easiest thing to do is to remove, what we'll do is remove the drive shaft. We'll have to remove it anyway because the CV boot's gone. So we'll remove the drive shaft this side. I've just removed the heat shield, which is down there, and then we will remove the exhaust. You can sometimes get away with just unbolting the exhaust and pushing it to one side, but I think for the ease of this video, and the fact that it's not quattro, so there's no prop shaft in the way, it might actually be easier just to remove, take the exhaust off up to here. My only concern is though, that I don't think they are going to last very long. But it'll be easier, a lot less ag. So we'll take the exhaust off, and then we can get to the return pipes, oil feed pipes, exhaust manifold bolts, and there will also be an EGR pipe as well going into I think it's down that side, the other side of the exhaust. So that is what I'm doing, just to keep you all up to date. But first I've got to put the car on the ground because the locking wheel key's in the epoxy boot. Right guys, there is our turbo finally out. It wasn't too bad a job. I'll just actually quickly go through what was required to get to this stage. So, front wheel was off. Right, I apologise if there's a lot of wind noise and the garage door makes a lot of noise in the wind, so apologies in advance for that. But right, to get to the state of the turbo out, it was wheel off, bottom arm out, drive shaft out, which gave us access to the underside of the turbo, and then what do we do? Right, so we removed the exhaust, the DPF, and I left all the connections on as well, so I just unplugged the connectors from the top of the engine bay. That was the easiest way to do it because they are quite difficult to remove in situ. So removed all hoses and wires with the DPF, so that came out and gave us a lot of room. And then you've got, what else we've got? And then you've got various heat jackets on the exhaust as well, which you have to remove. And then you've got the intake pipe going into the turbo, which was removed as well. You've got an EGR pipe there from the EGR. That needed to be removed as well because that bolts onto the end of the manifold. And then once you've got those out, it's pretty simple. Sorry, my torch is flat, so I need to get that charged as well. But if you can see up there as well, we've got the exhaust manifold bolts. Luckily, they all come off really easily. I let them soak in WD-40 for probably 15-20 minutes. They come out really nicely. And then that's pretty much it. As I was saying, I've got all the DPF pressure sensor. That came off all with the DPF because it was just easier to do it like that and just remove the connectors. I had to just unbolt the EGR cooler. Just had to drop it down. It's only 4 bolts, really easy. Just drop it down just so I can wiggle the turbo out. And I managed to get the turbo out of this gap. I think it was yesterday, I can't remember now. Either out of that gap, it might have been out of here actually, got out of here. I think I just removed the engine bolt, engine mount, just so I can swing the engine a little bit away and just pop the turbo out. So that is all good. We have the turbo here, and I should be able to show you, if it's going to focus in there, why we're changing it. See that movement? Oh, please come on, focus in there. Focus! Can't see it, but look, there you go, look. I mean, it's not the end of the world, it's not a massive amount, but it is enough. It's enough to warrant replacing. You can get away with very, very slight play in the turbo. You could probably get away with it, but that is excessive, so that does need replacing. To test the actuator, I was going to release this video today, which is Tuesday, but I can't test the actuator because I don't have a Mitivac. These are vacuum pressure actuators, so they rely on vacuum for boost. The common problem is the seals in the actuator go and it doesn't hold vacuum, which means it doesn't boost. So I've ordered a Mitivac from Amazon. That should be here tomorrow, so then I can properly test the actuator to make sure it holds pressure or holds vacuum, and then we'll know that it's good. But I don't have one, so I can't test it, so I'm gonna have to delay this video till, or obviously now you're watching it, but it's Wednesday. It should be Wednesday. Hopefully I'll get that out. But in the meantime, I will today get the core replacement, and we'll do that for now. Right, so got both turbo cores on the bench. So there's our core in there on our turbo, and there is our new core here. So that is the part we will be changing, and as you can see, that's all good for the new one. So I'm going to stick it on time lapse now, and then we can see the breakdown of dismantling this turbo to get ready to replace the core. So it would just be a case of removing all the heat shields. I will have to remove the actuator, and then there's just bolts, 5 bolts all the way around each side, and then we can remove the core. Right guys, sorry about the bloody door again, it's pissing me off as well, making a lot of noise. Right, got the turbo completely stripped down. So here's all the various bits. You've got the outer side here for the intake. You've got the turbo side here, so not the turbo side, the exhaust manifold side here, and then you've got the core here. So as you can see again in better, no, let me just put bloody. As you can see here, probably a bit better, the movement. Look at that. Also, it looks like something's eaten away at it as well. Not too sure, but there you can see the movement. Look how much it's moving around. Right, so stripped down, and you may have noticed these parts here. Just put that over there. Right, here are your vanes of the turbo. So this is actually quite a tricky bit to set up. It's quite hard to get them all in the same, but all these move individually, and they all, I don't want to mess them around, but they all operate, oh bugger it, I've got to mess around with it anyway, so we'll just tip it upside down carefully, and they all operate these vanes here. Look. So the idea is when the actuator pulls, what it does is it moves this part here, it's on the new one, moves this part here, which will in turn move them all. They will all be connected when they're in, but what happens is when it's closed, obviously it's closed like that and there's no air getting in between, and when it opens they all go like this. All, obviously they do it all at the same time, but they all open like that. So effectively you've got full boost, obviously that's a bit exaggerated, it won't be that far, but you've got full boost, and no boost. So that's how it works, and that's how the actuator determines how much air is flowing through the turbo. That's going to be quite tricky to set up because you have to get them all, as you can see, they move individually when they're off, but when they're on, they move as one. So that's quite hard, going to be quite hard to get in. The only downside is, in this video, I will have to end it for today because when I was removing the vanes from the old turbo, as you can see, look, the little M4 nuts, all three of them, which hold the casing on here, they snapped off. Couldn't do anything about it, tried soaking it in WD, tried to be careful with it, but they still snapped. So I've had to order some new nuts, some new bolts, so they won't be here till probably tomorrow afternoon / Thursday morning. So and obviously I'll have my MITI vac by then as well, so we'll be able to complete the install of the turbo. So unfortunately I'm going to have to end it here for today. But we have got it all completely stripped down, so you can see it's completely stripped, just ready to, I've already started building it back up on this side, but until we've got these bolts that we can hold the vanes in together, then I can't do any more at the moment. So that is it for today's video, guys. Unfortunately didn't get it all back together today, but I'd rather get you the first half of the video out instead of wait until possibly Friday / Saturday until I can get the second half out. So we'll have to split this bit in two. But as always, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, please do like and subscribe. Hopefully the parts will come in tomorrow, probably afternoonish time, so bloody door. So when the parts do come, I can then do the rest of the video. We'll rebuild the turbo and then fit it all back together and go out on a road test. So that video will probably be towards the end of the week / maybe Saturday morning. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and tune in next time for the rebuild. Cheers, guys.